Here we're looking at the home screen for the SprayStar system in the new R4038 sprayer. Start at the top here. This is just pretty much what we'd call our performance monitor. You can pick and choose anything that you want to see as a personal preference on the screen at any time. Myself, I like to have gallon per minute up here running because, as you know, we always type in gallon and acre, but our valves for low flow and high flow on the machine are measured in gallon a minute, so we can have that up there. Right below it is what we're going to see when we're spraying. You can see which boom sections are on in black. We see our 3 rate selects that we can choose from with our knob of what we will actually be running. And now on the R series sprayer, you can actually push right on your rates and change your rates at any time. Okay. You can edit that out. Also, right in the center of your sprayer, it'll tell you the volume of solution that you have in your tank. As you're running through the field, this will go down and you can tell when you're about to run out of solution. When you get to the end of the field and you fill back up, you'll just simply press on this. You'll have your full volume, or if you only do a half a tank, or you could type in however much at that time that you just filled up with, and this will refill your tank to show on your screen on how much solution you have in your tank. Also on this screen, it will show your actual gallon per acre that you're putting on. That should match your rate that you selected. And over here to the right, on an R series sprayer now, we have 2 pressure sensors. We will actually show the pressure right at the pump and the pressure out on the boom. This is another quick way we can tell if any of our strainers are getting clogged up. Below that is our boom track. When it is enabled, these will turn green and tell the height of your boom going through the field. And they also have a quick setup key right here to go right into your boom track. We have response rate on raise and lower that we can change to fine tune now. We also have center frame control, which this will match all to the same height. We have either, if you're running on ground or canopy mode, of what you want your sensors to look at. To change your height at any time, we can push right on there and raise and lower our boom height to whatever we want to raise. You can also, if you want to fine tune it even more, you have a target height mode where you can change the heights from left, right, and center to fine tune it in your application. They also give you a quick little setup feature here. Green as always means good. So since we have green here, this means that it is talking to all 5 sensors on this machine. As it tells you here, if we have a red X, that means it's not seeing that sensor. It also gives you a quick reference here of the piece of the pie that everything is good to go, and you can kind of diagnose your problems a little quicker. If you hit on your status, again, it will give you the green or the red X on what is good, so it can tell you everything that it needs for boom track to work. So that's all we have on our home page right there that you'll normally see going through the field, which is our top button, always brings you back to the home sprayer page. Second button down we have here an arrow on the top. That always means setup. So we'll go in the spray setup, we have several icons now. We can go across here. We have a little bell here that pretty much means your alarms. Do you want a flow rate, section alarms on and off, and type in your low tank alarm when you want an alarm to go off at how many gallons. Your second button here is just another way to get into your tank refill volumes. The next one here we have is the nozzle calculator. You can actually go in, tell your gravity if you're water or if you're spraying 28. You can type in your gallon to the acre, nozzle spacing, your speeds, at any point in time, it always automatically, as you're typing things in, it'll give you the best match of what size tip that you need. Pretty neat feature that they just added. We also have agitation. They give you 3 levels of agitation now. As on our 30 series sprayer, we had the manual valve on the back that we could just crack back and forth. Now we have an agitation level of 1, 2, 3. This is 30%, 50%, or 100% open. And the last one we have here is your foam marker configuration. Right now it is turned off. You have the choice of either auto or manual. In manual mode, this is where we actually have to manually click right or left on our hydro handle. In auto mode, it will switch from right to left every time you turn the master spray switch on and off. Below this is some more sprayer setups that we have. We do have a check mark box here for boom pressure relief. If we check mark this box, with the sprayer pump off, we can hit your master spray switch. This will open the valves and relieve the pressure on the boom for servicing. Right next to it is our high flow rate on and off. What this is for is when we turn our high flow rate valve on the side of the machine, we also have to go in here and check mark the high flow rate to let it know to actually start reading on the second flow meter. If we do not do this, the valve will be open and we will be putting twice the product through and only reading off of 1 flow meter. Below that, we have our boom charge options. Our boom charge, most of the time we are going to run this in auto. So every third time you turn around on the end of the field, the computer will start to learn how fast you take off and slow down, so that pump pressure can match and come to a more equal flow rate for you as you're spraying. In the off mode, everything is just dead until you turn the master sprayer switch on to start spraying. And then you have the choice of a manual mode of whatever you have your spray off pressure set at. That is what it'll charge the boom at until you get moving and it gets speed reading and starts to spray. We also now have the choice here. We are letting it know when we have the orifice valve open or close, so the machine can configure and do a better job of maximize your spraying. Underneath here, we have our sprayer min-max number. It is a 1 to 5. These numbers are more of a reaction time. How quick you want the sprayer pump to react to speeding up and slowing down. Most of the time we will start this at 3. The higher the number, the quicker it is. The lower the number, the slower. So we'll probably try and start this in 3, and you can adjust that just to fine tune it yourself. To the right of here we have our minimum spray pressure. Our minimum spray pressure is how low it'll watch the pressure go before shutting the boom off. This way, if we get too low, we don't have nozzles just dribbling and automatically shutting off. Most of the time we will leave this set at 15 pounds. Below that is our spray off pressure. Our spray off pressure is how much pressure the system is going to hold when the master switch is turned off and the solution pump is turned on. This is also known in the past as called agitation pressure. So what pressure is in the system when we're shut off, agitating in the machine. Usually we try and match this to about the pressure that you will be spraying through the field. That way it is a lot quicker response time when you turn on and off your boom. The next tab we have at the top is the boom setup. In the boom setup, This is initially your setup of how many sections, how many nozzles, your nozzle width. This is what it's going by for all your documentation. And then we have the return to height mode at the bottom here, which is off. Most people, if we were running boom track, we don't turn this on. But if you do not have the boom track option, we can turn this on. Remember the height of where the boom is at, so if you raise at the end of the field, the next time you lower the center main frame of the boom, it'll go back to the same height. The next tab we have at the top of the screen here is Vehicle Setup. In Vehicle Setup, this is where we can come in and reset our service hours at the top by simply hitting the button and zeroing them out. At the bottom of the screen here, we have our rate control, what we are gonna display the speed or read our speed off of. You have the choice between wheel speed, radar speed, or GPS speed. Most of the time on pre-emergent stuff, lots of times we like to use radar speed. It has a little quicker reaction on speeding up and slowing down. This has a receiver on it, so you have the choice of GPS speed. Or if you do not have that and you're in tall crop, we can choose the wheel speed and go back to wheel speed so the crop does not mess with your radar and gives you inaccurate speed readings. That is about all for the setup. Our next button down, anytime you have a triangle that's upside down, that is calibrations. In sprayer calibrations, at the top here we have our flow meter numbers. These calibration numbers are the tag that is on each flow meter. This is what that flow meter is calibrated to. We just need to make sure our numbers are matching here on flow meter 1. And in this option, a high flow option, we have a second flow meter. Below that, you have a pressure sensor calibration. When we go in there, that is simply make sure everything is off, there's no pressure in the system, and we are zeroing out the pressure sensor. Below that is a solution pump calibration. A solution pump calibration, this is just made for if a major component has ever been replaced on the machine or something that's failed, a control valve, anything like that, we will go into calibrate the solution pump. The next button on the top are boom calibrations. These are all for if we've replaced a sensor, we are having boom issues on folding or unfolding. They're just simply going through of when the boom is totally folded, when it's totally out, and raised and lowered. Next tab is the vehicle calibrations. This is where we can go in our speed calibrations to calibrate our radar. And now on the R series sprayer we have a tread adjust calibration. On these, the tread adjust, there is actually a sensor that is reading how wide your wheels are. So this is a simply all the way in and all the way out to reset and calibrate those sensors. At the bottom of the screen is just hydro and auto track. Simply the same way, hydro calibration all the way forward, all the way back, and auto track the same there. Our next button down that we have here, the 1, 2, 3, this is something you've seen in a lot of our vehicles. The 1, 2, 3 is just your acre counters. You can zero your acre counters off, distance counters, job summaries, and the lifetime acres, kind of the acre and hour meter for the whole sprayer of its lifetime. Below that, our next tab down, the book and the wrench, is always our diagnostics. They give you several choices now. If you're having problems with anything, you can go into readings and you can pick what function you're having problems with. If you go in here, like armrest controls, again they give you the green meaning good and red meaning bad. We can actually pick button readings and push our buttons, our rate select button, and it's just a simple diagnostic tab that you can see if you're actually having an issue with the machine. The other 4 tabs we have on the screen here are options that are on these sprayers. I will just tell you about real shortly. The B tab here is just a simple system purge. If you're going to the system and we had solution in here, you can put in your gallon per acre that you're running and pressures and simply turn it on and it'll purge the system out to get all the air out of the system before you start. The second button down is the rinse feature and clean out, the automatic. This is where you would set up how many gallons of rinse tank water if you want to rinse just the tank, just the boom, or a full system rinse. The next tab down, the auto button. This is the same as going to your quick Boom Track Pro tab key here on your home page. Bring you right back to the same page. And the last but not least here would be if you had the load command option to get that set up before you start. Next thing I'd like to talk about is the documentation page, setting up on your sprayer. To get there, we will hit the menu key, GS3, green star, and document. As before, we have to have a product in here to set up for it to map and everything to work. You have 2 choices on a sprayer. You can do a single product, or you can do a tank mix. First, the single product, you always have to have some kind of product set up here. Otherwise, it will say new here. This will let you type in herbicide or fertilizers, whatever you're doing at the time. You can put in a product name, add new, and this will always be grayed out as gallon an acre because that is what the sprayer's functionality to do. Your target rate will always be grayed out here. It will go off of your main home screen of what you've pre-typed in before. Our second choice is if you're doing a tank mix. On a tank mix, the biggest thing there is when you're adding everything else, you always have to have a carrier in here first. If you're doing fertilizer or just straight water, you put your base rate in, and then you can add all the other products that you have mixed in at that time. This way you can document all separate products that you're mixing all together. So there's 2 ways to do that.